How's it going, folks? Graham Houston Matthews here, and welcome back to the random video blog where I give my rambling thoughts in the wrestling world, share a few stories, and everything else going on in the world around me, etc., etc. So since we're only a few days removed from the season premiere of WWE Tough Enough on the USA Network, I thought I would take this opportunity to give my full thoughts on the premiere of the show, my thoughts on Tough Enough in general. Since, Wrestle Rant Radio, I talked briefly about it this past week on the show, but it won't be out until Tuesday, and I really wanted to talk about Tough Enough from this past week, and whether I enjoyed it, whether other people enjoyed it, where I think they could do better, what I liked about it, so on and so forth. But anyway, my interest in Tough Enough since I started watching 2008, I have not watched the old seasons. Maybe I will at some point. It's not that I don't want to. I just don't really have the time. But I know they're all available on the WWE Network, and thank God for the WWE Network. I praise it at every single chance that I get, the WWE Network. That it affords us so many opportunities to go back and watch, old pay-per-views and old content and stuff that I have seen before and want to relive, or stuff that I've never seen before and didn't even know existed. But with Tough Enough, though, like I said, since I started watching 2008, the 2011 season was the first season of Tough Enough for me. I have not watched the old seasons. Maybe I will at some point, but because they uploaded the 2011 season on the WWE Network, I took the opportunity to watch the show week by week. Not because, it just kind of worked out this way, on the 4-year anniversary of each episode. So, for example, the first episode of Season 5, the 2011 season, debuted on, I think, the night after WrestleMania, after WrestleMania 27, the night out, right after Raw, right before Raw, I think it was after Raw, on April 4th, 2011. Now, April 4th of this year, I believe, of 2015, was on a Saturday, so I watched it on the 4-year anniversary, not just because I wanted to watch the episodes on their anniversary, just mostly because that was the only day I had free to sit down and watch the show. So I did that week by week, and I love how WWE does it, or did it, in that they uploaded the new episodes week by week, every single Tuesday, and that's what I've been complaining and / raving about for quite some time now. I complained about how they never had any consistency with the WWE Network. They would upload one episode of one show one week, wait another 6 months before they upload this next episode. It was so inconsistent. It rubs a lot of people the wrong way, myself included. So then I was raving about how they did it right with Tough Enough the last season, how they uploaded a new episode every single week, right around the time they initially aired 4 years ago. So I love that. But I like that approach a lot. I mean, with Netflix, I don't want to go on a huge rant here and kind of digress. But, I don't really like the approach with Netflix. I see why they do it, but, uploading every single episode at the same time. The network does it from time to time, too. I can't, sit down and binge watch, so to speak, or whatever the hell it's called. I can't do that. I just don't have the time, and I like watching things on a weekly basis. I'm a traditionalist like that. So anyway, I watched the old season of Tough Enough like that, the 2011 season. I had not seen any of the episodes since they originally aired, so a lot of that stuff I either didn't remember or just really wanted to relive, because I freaking loved that show. I've said this time and time again here on the YouTube channel and on Twitter and Facebook and whatever. The year of 2011 has been so far, 2015 isn't over yet. We're halfway through, so maybe this will change by the end of the 2015. But 2011 to now, up to this point, has been my favorite year in wrestling that I've been a fan for. I love the year of 02 and 05 and 08, but 2011 to me has been my favorite year. So many emotional attachments to that year, both personally and wrestling-wise. It was not the greatest year by any stretch. Favorite and best are two very different things. And that was one of the reasons why I loved Tough Enough that year. Stone Cold Steve Austin, you had a great cast of characters, but Stone Cold Steve Austin was the perfect host for that show. Very hard-hitting, very candid, will not give two shits about what other people think about him, and just give you the honest-to-God truth about how you're progressing, your mic skills, what you did wrong, and shit like that. I thought it was great. Trish Stratus was a very good host, kind of fulfilled that women's role on that show, kind of give her 2 cents and pulling for the women. That came close to winning, which I'll get to in a second. Booker T, I thought was very good. Glad to see him back in this year's show. And then Bill DeMott. He is not the most popular guy in the world of wrestling nowadays. But even on that show, maybe there's some stuff that we're not seeing. And he did kind of be a little bit of a dick to some of the competitors in the 2011 season. But he was pretty funny more often than not. He did come across pretty likable in that Jericho interview a couple weeks ago on Talk is Jericho. But maybe there's another side to him that we don't know of. And there's a reason why he was let go. Whatever. I'm not going to get into that right now. But regardless, though, they had a great cast of characters, and I thought all the people that tried out that year were also really, really good. The number of competitors that they had were also great. We had Miss USA, Rima Fakih, who was kind of like the drama aspect of that show. I was surprised she lasted as long as she did. They just wanted to keep her around, mostly for publicity, kind of say, oh yeah, we have Miss USA on our show on the USA Network. And she didn't last that long, but she should have been probably cut quicker. She had the passion. I respect that. She just really was not that good. We also had Alicia Fox's sister, whose name escapes me right now. If I probably think long and hard, I could probably think of it. Christine, I think it is. She was good. I was surprised, again, that she lasted as long as she did. She was the last remaining of the women. Maybe Michelle was her name, the one that left because of her daughter, or she got homesick. I respect that. I could see why she left. Eva Lise, I believe, should have been the last woman remaining. I get why she wasn't. If I had my way, she probably would have won the whole thing, if not come very, very close. I know she was like the 4th or 5th or 6th in the standings, or eliminated, whatever, because of her injury, and that sucks. I mean, shit like that happens. That happens with every season of Tough Enough. That'll likely happen with this season as well. You get injured, you have to bust through it, but if you can't continue, you got to be cut from the show. And I'll talk about Eva Lise in a sec, or I'll talk about it right now, I guess. I thought she was really, really good. I mean, she's repping it up right now in Lucha Underground. It's funny because 3 of the competitors or contestants from that year's Tough Enough, including, what's his name? Matt Cross, I think his name is, Son of Havoc from Lucha Underground. You would never know that they're the same person because he wears the mask now. He has a beard. You would never know it's the same guy. He's really, really good. He's actually with Eva Lise in Tough Enough, right? In Lucha Underground right now. They're a really good pairing. They are 2/3 of the Trios champions. A great promotion, by the way. That's another video for another day. And then we also have Martin Casillas, who was one of the runner-ups for this season, for the 2011 season, who, again, another guy who I thought should have won that thing, but much like Eva Lise, came down with an injury. Eva Lise got another tryout. She got another chance. She was in NXT for a while. I guess it was rumored that Bill DeMott had something to do with her release from the company. Whatever it may have been, I heard that she had an attitude issue. Maybe that's the case, but, she was really good and worth investing, and I was sad to see her go, but at least she's doing well for herself now in Lucha Underground. But, yeah, Martin I thought was great. I have an interview with him. I had him on the Spoilers podcast a couple years ago. I'll probably upload it here to the channel, much like I did the Luke Robinson interview last week, and if you want to go back and check that out, I uploaded it on Sunday in the interview section up here on the channel if you want to check it out. He was a great dude, a lot of fun to talk to, but Martin, I honest to God think that had he not gone injured that season, that he probably would have won the whole thing. That he probably would have been at the end with Luke. Because Andy really came out of nowhere. Andy Levine, whatever. I thought it was Andy Levine, but I guess, because I believe that's his last name of one of the American Idol winners. That's probably where I got it from. But other people were calling him Andy Levine, so we'll go with that. But anyway, though, he was never really showcased. He was not really profiled all that much in the first few episodes of the show, and he really wasn't that good. He'd break down crying and whatnot when Stone Cold yelled at him, which I respect that. I get that he's passionate. I'm all about passion. But in the ring, the guy was a liability. He really was not that good. He was less of a liability than Jeremiah, who was also very good, an MMA fighter. They thought he was too dangerous in the ring. I get that. They should have given him another chance, another tryout. They didn't. I guess he's probably doing MMA now or something like that. But Andy just was not good. He didn't have that it factor. I get he had that silent rage thing, but a cool character does not mean you get to be a WWE superstar, that you're going to succeed as a wrestler in the WWE, as a performer. And it was obvious they made the wrong choice. Luke Robinson had Martin, because he didn't get to the end, and Eva Lise didn't get to the end. Luke would have been my guy to go with. Why they didn't go with him, I have no idea. I know he tweeted something a little while ago saying that there was a reason why they didn't pick him. I haven't listened to his interview yet. He didn't talk about it in the interview that I conducted with him a couple years ago. Again, like I said, up here on the channel, but that guy had it all. There was just something about him that screamed very Miz-like, but just better in the ring, charismatic, much like The Miz, but just a cocky attitude that made you want to just punch this guy, but respect him at the same time because he was so goddamn good. And then they went with Andy, probably because of his size or whatever. And Stone Cold had the final say. I remember I was watching the season finale a couple weeks ago with John in my place. on the WWE Network. And Vince said, I'm not so sure I wouldn't have gone with the other guy. So maybe Vince would have gone with Luke. You would think that it'd be the other way around, that he would have wanted Andy because he was a big dude, and Stone Cold would have wanted, Luke. But I guess not. I guess he probably wanted Andy. Stone Cold isn't always 100% right, but Andy was not the best choice. I said that then. We said that we could say that now. The guy got suspended a couple weeks after the show ended after violating the wellness policy. I know they did a little brief promo for him, promoting the Silent Rage crap, and that didn't really go anywhere. But yeah, he got suspended and later released about 10 months after the show ended. So that was obviously a failure, and probably one of the reasons why they didn't renew the show quicker than it did. I know Bill DeMott was a huge advocate of bringing that show back, and maybe he would have been a part of it had he not gotten released. But whatever. I think that they should have brought it back a lot sooner. I know there were rumors of it coming back, at various points, because it did very well on the USA Network, as the lead-in to Monday Night Raw. And maybe because the winner didn't really pan out, they thought it was, they didn't really need Tough Enough, or because they already had NXT. I'm not really sure. But, that show was so great. I really enjoyed that season. Now for my thoughts, we're 10 minutes in here. I'm already rambling. But now for my thoughts in the season, the latest season airing on the USA Network. Now, they initially announced they were bringing the show back about a year ago, last spring, right after WrestleMania, I believe, as a WWE Network exclusive. Now, because the costs were too high and the filming wasn't, they missed the time window for the filming, whatever. It didn't really work out, so that made me very sad because I really wanted to see that show come back. And they finally announced it as coming back earlier this year, back in January. I was so pumped. Again, like I said, I love Tough Enough. And maybe it's because I love that show so much that I enjoyed this past week's season premiere, because I really want to see it do well. And I mean, it's going to take some time to get used to. The format is not at all what it was in 2011. It's very different. Jericho is a different kind of host. And it's the same thing, much like with the podcasts. A lot of people say I like Jericho's over Stone Cold's, or I like Stone Cold's over Jericho's. They're two very different things. I enjoy both of their styles. Austin is very, like I said before, very hard-hitting, very candid. Jericho just wants to have a good time. It's more about being entertaining, and which is cool. Both ways are acceptable. Some people like one style more than the other, which is great. And I think Jericho, it kind of likes that role of being the Ryan Seacrest of the show, which is fine. I mean, I used to watch American Idol all the time 10 years ago. I haven't watched it in recent years. I thought the show went to crap after they got rid of all the judges. But now I think the more this season feels more and more very American Idol-esque. I said that to RJ when I was texting him back and forth about it right after the show premiere, and I said that on Twitter, which is cool. Some people aren't going to like that. Like I said, it might take some more time, and if you don't like it, then don't watch the show. That's completely okay. But from night one, it was a mess. I saw a lot of people pooping on it, which again, like I said, is fine. Just got to give it more time. Maybe it'll improve. It'll improve over time. Just that live aspect of it. They went back and forth from the pre-tape segments to the live action stuff and the voting. I like the live voting, and it adds a nice little fan interaction element to it, so then that's pretty cool. And then the pre-tape stuff, they need to find a balance between the pre-tape segments and the live aspect, the voting and stuff like that at the end of the show. If they can find that balance, they can kind of show a little bit more of the personalities of each competitor. With 13 people, you can't do that on night one. We got a little bit of some insight on like ZZ, and then, not Hank. Hank was the one that went home. Tanner, the MMA guy. A lot of people don't like him. I thought he was cool. Maybe it's because I can relate because I do some MMA too. I don't know. But he didn't really come across like a dick to me. The guys that came across like dicks to me on night one were the bigger dudes that were shitting on Tanner because he won the competition. Yes, he was cocky, but you need to be cocky. If he said, I'm really not that good, there's a chance that these other guys could win, then he's out. That's the whole reason why Daniel Bryan, that's a shoot, that was more storyline, but Daniel Bryan was eliminated from the first season of NXT all those years ago because he said he did not believe in himself. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to be cocky. You have to be confident more so than anything else. And I think Tanner showed that. He was also very good, so I'm pulling for him. Is he my top favorite? I don't know about my top favorite. I also like Sarah Lee. Excuse me. We haven't heard that much from her, but I like her look. I like her attitude. I like her personality. Maybe we'll be seeing more from her in the future. ZZ is not good. I know some people were very surprised that he stayed, but he's also very likable. You have to... you have to admit that it wasn't that surprising that he stuck around. This is the popularity contest at the end of the day. I know the judges kind of they pick the bottom 3. But at the end of the day, it's up to the WWE Universe to decide who stays and who goes, much like American Idol. And ZZ is way too likable to get kicked off on night 1, so I'm not surprised at all that he stuck around. He was not, in the best of shape. He wasn't even supposed to be a part of the show. Initially, he got cut from the competition, and the only reason he stayed was because one of the other guys didn't make the cut or whatever. And then Triple H saw something in him, much like Gabby, who we'll get to in a second, that he wanted to stick. He wanted to see him stick around. He thought he would be a great addition to the cast of the show. They have a lot of different personalities on Tough Enough this year, which I'm liking. They have a great cast of competitors. And ZZ, I think, is very likable. He's very entertaining. He probably won't win it all. He very likely will not win it all. But I want to see him go a little bit further and kind of see a little bit more about him, because for a 19-year-old kid, with the passion that he has for the business and being as entertaining, as much personality as he has, it would have been way too quick to see him take off. So I'm glad he's sticking around. So I like Sarah Lee, Tanner, ZZ, Gabby I'm pulling for, if only because, she's also very well-rounded. She's a very good athlete. She brings that drama aspect to the show, which makes the show entertaining. There's also a very good chance she walks out with the contract, but, which was funny, too, because I was reading the list of competitors that made it. Of the bottom 40, of the final 40, the only person that I recognized was the Big O from the Z True Long Island Story from Zack Ryder's YouTube show from a couple years ago. And I was surprised they didn't give him a tryout sooner. Maybe they did. I know he had a tryout for TNA. They dropped the ball there. Weirdly enough, he faced the other Tough Enough reject from 2011, Skidmark, or Ryan Howard, or whatever his name was. He faced him in his gut check match a couple years ago. But anyway, though, the Big O was the only one that I recognized in the final 40, and then when I saw them make the final 13, or the top 13, whoever made the cut, the only person that I didn't recognize her, but I saw the name, Southington, Connecticut is where she lives. She's from Brazil, but that's where Gabby, whatever her last name is, Vinci or something like that. She is from Connecticut, but then I later found out she was a family friend of mine. She is actually the fiance or wife or girlfriend, I don't know what it is right now, but she is the significant other of my dad's friend. So she's a family friend, so it's pretty cool. So I was able to interview her actually for Bleacher Report a couple days ago. That interview is up right now on the website. It is live if you want to check it out. But pulling for her to win, if only because she's a Connecticut native. She's a family friend, so I'm looking forward to seeing how far she goes in the competition. And who else? Gabby, Sarah Lee, Tanner, ZZ, and I want to say there was somebody else too. Patrick is also very good. He's another guy who is also very, very passionate. He's very knowledgeable about the business. @_John's Jargon, my buddy John pointed this comparison out. Very Shelton Benjamin-esque. And no, not just because they're both African-American, but because the athleticism that both these guys have, just the overall athletic look and the personality, the mic skills, he is very Benjamin-esque. And I would love to see him go far in the competition as well, if not win it. I believe I'm missing out on somebody else here too. There was a lot of different guys in the show that I liked, that I took to, that I'm looking forward to seeing go further. There's a lot of people I'm pulling for right now. But yeah, overall, I thought the show was good. Wasn't great, but I can definitely see people's complaints as to why they didn't enjoy it or because they thought it was a sloppy mess. Very, very understandable. But I think if you give it more time, if you give it a few more weeks, maybe they'll, they just got to work out the bugs, with all the live aspect and the pre-tape stuff and getting to know the characters a little bit more. Because remember, back in the 2011 season, people thought that show was going to, be shitty too. They all debuted the night after WrestleMania in a segment that no one cared about. That was a disaster when they brought everyone out there to say hi to the WWE Universe, and Stone Cold was out there introducing all of them, and there were chants, stun them all. No one cared at that point. But over time, and seeing the personalities develop on the show, and people go further, and see other people get cut, and all the guest hosts and everything else, it ended up becoming one of the best things about that year in wrestling. Tough Enough, I thought, was great in 2011. But the judges too on this year's Tough Enough were also very. We got a star-studded roster of talent on that show. You have Jericho as the host, which I think is great. Would have preferred Austin, but like I said, I'm a Jericho-holic. I think he's great in the role. He's very Ryan Seacrest-esque. He fulfills that role very well. And Stone Cold is busy. He would have done the show had he not been busy with his other Broken Skull Challenge show or whatever it is, which is fine. But I think Jericho's great as the host. You have Renee Young as another host of his companion on the show. You have Hulk Hogan, Daniel Bryan, and Paige as the judges, which I think is great. Hulk Hogan kind of brings that over-the-top aspect to it. One of the most recognizable, if not the most recognizable name in wrestling history. A huge name, has that it factor that he can look for in different superstars. Paige can kind of vouch for the women and also show kind of that being different, that also having the it factor and showing a personality. And Daniel Bryan, being the amazing wrestler that he is, he can kind of weed out who he thinks is passionate about the business, or who he thinks is not passionate about the business, and, being an asshole and all this other stuff. I think, all these judges bring something different to the table, no pun intended. And then, not the judges, we have also the trainers, who I think are pretty cool as well. We have Billy Gunn and Booker T. Billy Gunn works down in the Performance Center. He kind of fulfills that Bill DeMott role a little bit more likable and a little bit more goofy, I guess, which is cool. And then Booker T is Booker T. And then Lita's kind of filling in for Trish Stratus. I think she's doing her job very well as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing all these judges and trainers and hosts and stuff continue to be an integral part of the show. But anyway, if you only watched the season premiere on Tuesday night, I was unable to watch it live. I couldn't vote or anything like that. My power went out, so I had to watch it the next morning. But, and again, like I said, I enjoyed it. But if you did not enjoy the season premiere, please do me a favor. If you already haven't done this already, go on the WWE Network, check out the Tough Talk special that aired after the show. I thought it was incredibly entertaining, 10 times better than the show itself. The Miz as the host of that was great. A lot of people were raving about his performance, like, where has this Miz been for the last 10 years, He was very, very enjoyable, very, very entertaining in that role as the host of Tough Talk. Check it out. A lot of people, you got to see more of the personalities of the competitors, and the judges were very funny. Brian had a few good one-liners as well, and Jericho was pretty good. I don't think Jericho was even a part of the show, but the judges were great, though. I love Tough Talk, and it's only half an hour long. It's a little bit lengthy. I mean, I thought it'd be like 10-15 minutes. Half an hour can be a little bit long for some people, but again, like I said, it's well worth it. It's great. So if you didn't enjoy the season premiere, or even if you did, go back out and check out Tough Talk on the WWE Network that aired immediately afterwards. It was live, and like I said, the husband of Gabby, who I'm a family friend of mine, whose house I've been over to a million times before. I've actually filmed videos here for the channel from his house, from years back. It's crazy, old restaurant videos. But yeah, he's on the show. He has a cameo. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing where this season goes, and make sure to check out Tough Talk. Check out Tough Enough if you haven't checked it out already. Even if you didn't hear good things about it, and that kind of wavered you from watching it, at least give the show maybe 10 minutes. At the very least 10-15 minutes. And if you didn't enjoy the full 60 minutes of the show this week, tune in for the next few episodes. It's going to take time for them to kind of get used to the format, the live aspect of it, and work out the bugs and the kinks and all that other stuff. But I'm excited. I was really excited going into Tough Enough. I think it met my expectations to an extent. I enjoyed it, and like I said before, I'm very excited to see what the future of Tough Enough holds in the months and weeks to come. But anyway, I want to get your guys' thoughts on Tough Enough. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. But even if you didn't, I want to get what you guys thought of the show, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, what you're looking forward to, who are you pulling for in the competition to see emerge victorious and win that $250,000 WWE contract. Sound off in the comments below. You can tweet me on Twitter at WrestleRant. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/graham.gstim.matthews. Be sure to give that page an old thumbs up. And as always, guys, I appreciate your support. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll be back next Friday with another random video blog. But throughout the week, though, you can check out WrestleRant videos, #AskJSM, WrestleRant radio excerpts. Tomorrow we got a WrestleRant video if you watch this on Friday. WrestleRant video tomorrow reviewing the 1992 SummerSlam pay-per-view. And then on Sunday, I don't know if it will go up this week or next week, but my interview, speaking of Tough Enough, with Martin Casillas, one of the runner-ups, among the final few left in the 2011 season. We conducted an interview with him back in 2012, a very good interview, a very good guy. It's already up here in the channel. It's just a matter of when I will upload it. There's so much stuff here on the channel as it is. So much content going up on a daily basis, it's kind of hard to find time to upload these interviews and stuff. That'll be either up this weekend or the weekend after that, so be on the lookout for that. And as I said before, another cheap plug, the final cheap plug, I promise. My exclusive interview with the Tough Enough contestant Gabby is up on Bleacher Report right now. Make sure to check that out. And also okay, I lied. Final plug here. Another exclusive interview with former WWE star Brodus Clay, TNA star Tyrus is right now on Wrestle Rant Radio. You will not find the excerpts up here in the channel on the Wrestle Rant Radio excerpts. It's because I'm saving the full interview for a later time to upload here to the channel down the line. But for right now, you can check out the full interview in the latest episode of Wrestle Rant Radio exclusively on nextairawrestling.net, where I do live reviews of Raw and other reviews of SmackDown, Lucha Underground, NXT, Main Event, Superstars, Ring of Honor, and everything else in between TNA Impact Wrestling. But anyway, guys, enough of the plugs, enough of my shameless rambling. Went on for 25 minutes here today, so if you're here by the end of the video, God bless you. Thank you. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you guys down the road.